one thing that people who are mentally tough do is like they live in the moment. They're not like wicked focused on what happened yesterday. They're not worried about what's going to happen tomorrow. They're like, okay, of course they think about the long-term goals, but like what's in front of me right now? What's the next best thing I can do? I think about that a lot. Like, what's the next best thing I can do? Maybe not mentally tough people, but I would say successful people.
I just figure I'm going to do whatever I was scheduled to do today anyway. I'm not changing my plan, Like, I'm not dead. So I'm not changing today's
You're not
plan.
bleeding. You're not dying. Yeah.
So, it doesn't matter how I feel. First of all, I don't feel much about it, but, part of that is a little bit of, probably a natural predisposition. I'm not a very anxious person. I score very low in neuroticism, so I have about as little neuroticism as a person could have, very little anxiety. So some of that's probably natural, but I wonder even that, is that natural, or is that like my brain got trained that way from things that happened earlier in life?
For sure.
I think it's both.
For sure, it's a combination of both.
Yeah. I don't know how to parse it out. I think it's both, But in any case, I'm grateful for that, and I might not have enjoyed the process.
Yeah. You're like, thank you.
But I think people are overly sensitive. Anybody that, just normal people, like our ancestors, like the life of an average human for generations and for hundreds of generations, for thousands, it was rough.
Of course.
It was rough.
We have this luxury now of like studying trauma, so we can see what childhood trauma does to the brain, does to the nervous system, does. But like, you're right, like the pioneers, like they got ate by a bear, or like, like
Yeah.
it happened.
My relative, a Native American, shot your relative with an arrow, and they're dead.
Right.
But
That's
guess what?
trauma.
But you're still there with the rest of your family, and you've still got some traveling to do.
Yep.
So, are you going to stay there in enemy territory, or are you going to keep moving?
Right.
And now maybe somebody is sick or something, like, all right, what are you going to do, though? You sit around and cry about it, or we're going to keep moving? So, there's decisions like that people had to make. And I don't mean to say that the, traumatic events are not real. Like, I had my version of some traumatic events. Most of my friends had some traumatic events. I don't mean to say that that's not real, but like, it's not going to help you to be more successful to sit around and dwell on, the negative parts. Like,
I mean, it's also fascinating to me that like, no one escapes childhood without trauma. Like, whether you like it or not, something's going to happen. Like, this is just like, to be human. Like, you're going to get bullied. Someone's going to die. Something's going to, like, everyone has their trauma, right? So, like, to use it as an excuse or I don't know.
My dad is the guy that gets the bad rap. My dad's the guy that, he was in prison, he's a felon, or, multi-time felon. He's a pretty decent guy. He never hit me once. Barely raised his voice to me. Halfway supportive in his own ways. My mom I didn't have a good relationship with my mother. So I don't need to dwell on it. But nobody has said more awful things to me in my lifetime. Nobody was more physically abusive to me in my lifetime than my mother. I didn't go to my own mother's funeral. My mother stole from me whenever she could. She's just not a very pleasant person. And I don't sit around and cry about it. I'm just like, well, yeah, my mom was kind of a crazy bitch, and, I didn't really like her much. Wish I had a different, if I could like have a random lottery, like just at random chance be assigned a different mother, almost for sure would have been better, But I'm doing pretty good now. Would I have the same motivation if I didn't have some of those things earlier? Probably not.
That's such a great piece of it too, though. Like, you have this fantastic mentality about turning it into something positive. And like, I don't know if you would use this word. I'm not sure if this is what you would, but like, I do have gratitude for the bad that's happened to me in my life. I do. Like, I'm grateful for it because it made me who I am today. And I'm unfuckwithable.
When I was younger, I used to think that was a crazy thought. And as I got older, I'm like, no, I've come to adopt a very similar version of that. I'm like, if I didn't have some of those circumstances, it's not possible that I could be doing as well. That I wouldn't have the same motivation when you have rough moments.
Right.
And you're just like, this. You just, I got this,
Yeah.
It's not really a rough moment,
Yeah.
And without some of those experiences, I don't. I mean, you'd like to yourself maybe that like you could have this some noble, more perfect version that you would have worked just as hard without certain things. But I don't think I would have.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think what you said is more accurate. I've come to that way of thinking more and more over time. But yeah, I don't know. Everybody's soft today. The great news for everybody here is like there's never been a time in history where your competition is more weak, more soft, more distracted. Even pro fighters today, now they got, I'm canceling the fight for mental health reasons. You're a pro fighter.
You're already mentally crazy.
Yeah, you're supposed to have some
You're
mental
getting
health issues. If you didn't have some mental health issues, you'd have a different profession. Of course,
I know.
So, even in like the last real sport there's a reason that so many other athletes look at MMA, the high level MMA people with the respect that they have, because football players are not really that tough, basketball, baseball, etc. These are not, there's an extreme admiration for these high level fighters and the champion fighters like Kayla and many others that are brought around. And she made the comment, and I'll go with it, is a very special type of person. It's a very, not only psychologically tough and physically tough, etc., but it's a very special type of person that can do these sort of things. There's very few people like that. And it's the last group of people on earth that there's still some sense amongst the high-level people. There's plenty of people that are full of shit over there, but amongst the high-level people, there's still a very strong honor culture that, it's important to keep your word. It's important to be mindful of there's a personal responsibility that you have to keep your word. You have to do the things you say you're going to do. You have to do more than is expected of you. There's very few people that are that way. Most athletes are not that way. There's very few people that are that way. So, I don't know. It's why I have such a strong bias towards spending time with those type of people that like everybody's so weak and full of if you could just not be like that, if you could just be like keep your word, simple things, back to those boring things, yeah, just keep your word consistently. Oh, you said you're going to do something? Yeah, for sure I'm going to do it. For sure I'll do it. But something came up. Well, that's the only time that your word is important or means anything, is when something comes up and it becomes inconvenient and you go do the thing anyway. That's the only time. During easy times, it doesn't mean anything. Well, I made a promise and it was very convenient to fulfill, so I did. That doesn't mean anything. That means nothing at all. Like the only time that it's important that you made a promise or has any sincere meaning is like you made a promise to do something. Glover writes me yesterday. Glover's got a grappling match tonight. I don't know how. I hope he won. Maybe it's not even started yet. I'm not sure. But Glover's got a grappling match tonight. Glover writes me yesterday, and he's still in New Jersey, and he's saying, Derek, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to town this week, et cetera, et cetera. And he's like he's kind of distraught, and I don't mean to exaggerate or hyperbolize, but he's a little concerned that he said, I told you I'd see you this weekend, and I had to drive from Jacksonville to New York, and this thing and this thing and that thing, and my flights keep getting canceled, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. And I said, Glover, you got to fight tomorrow. I'm like, don't worry about me. We have like social plans. I'm like, bro, like go win your fight and don't worry about me, and everything's good, But like, it's so important to him to, like it's bothering him. Instead of thinking about his fight the next day, he's concerned that like, maybe we're not going to have lunch. I'm like, bro, don't worry. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. No, I'll see you next month. We're training together next month. I'll see we'll hang out then. Don't worry about it. He made this, and then he texted me like an hour later. So I finally got on my flight. I'm just like, just focus on your bro. Just focus on your. If you look at his Instagram today, he's wearing one of those shirts right now. So I don't know. It's a different group of people, and that doesn't. Most fighters are full of too, by the way. But the 10% or so that linger around the top or stay there for any period of time, they tend to be really wonderful people. it's the last little special enclave of people like that in the world. Everybody is soft. Now, you got to think about that to your advantage. There's never been a time in history that your competition was weaker, more reluctant to commit to their own success. You had all these social programs it's awfully hard to starve in America. It's awfully hard to starve. It's hard to die from lack of resources. You could do literally nothing, and somebody will try to keep you alive, even if they shouldn't. Even if it's clear to the rest of society that maybe they shouldn't, but somebody will try to keep you alive. So, if you make any serious effort, you can do extraordinarily well. Any effort would put you in the top 20%. Just any very low level effort would put you in the top 20% of virtually anything. And then you work your way up from there for the metrics in the areas that matter to you. But it's not something to just say like, oh, everybody's soft. Well, you can make fun of them for a minute, and I quite enjoy that. But also take advantage of that. That like, if you're willing to do things that other people are not willing to do, there's great rewards that can go with that, and use it to your advantage. And something unique about him, he's a little perplexed in life, where he spent his time studying. He's from Germany. He spent his time studying to be a doctor, and he graduated, and he's a doctor. And he made a lot of money in the stock market, and now he don't want to show up and be a doctor anymore. Now he's an investor. and I thought that's a really high quality problem, but it still troubles him occasionally.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you the pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.